Hi, Eliana. I think the best thing to do maybe for me to send you a video on how to prepare reports within Excel out of Airbnb. That way you can refer back to things. If you have any questions, certainly please let me know. We're logged in here to the Aqua Soleil Airbnb account. I'm going to go to transaction history. Sometimes you won't see this here. If you don't see it here, then go to performance. In fact, I'm just going to go this way so you can see this way. If you hit the transaction history, it's going to take you here. So both places will take you to this place. Hit earnings, and sometimes it takes a while for this to load. So we have our earnings, go to view transaction history. This actually, sorry, this is where if you were to hit it over here in the um, this will take you to this place here. So it is a shortcut if you see it. If you don't see it, you have to go in this way, and then next time you'll see it here. Anyway, all right. So let's say we want to get September to date. So we'll do from September to September, and right now we're going to see completed payout. So this will be data for stays that have already occurred, not future stays. So then we'll do this, and then we're going to click this download a CSV, and a CSV file is simply a comma delimited file that's actually a spread that Excel or other spreadsheet programs would recognize as being arranged into columns and rows, that kind of thing. So it's preparing the report now. And so we'll wait till we see this screen. On a Windows machine, you'll see a very similar type screen. Just save it to a place. I just put it on my desktop. Save it to a place where you'll know where to find it in the program or in the operating system. So that has been done. So now I'm just going to click this and then reduce the go. So that part is finished. So then go to whatever on Windows, you'll see it sitting there on your desktop. Here is what we just saved here. So I'm going to launch it, which will open Excel automatically. If it doesn't open Excel automatically on your machine, you might need to tell it to open all CSV files with Excel. So here's the data that we imported. I'm just going to make this big. I'm not quite sure how you do that on Windows, but um, I think you hit the little plus button over here and it'll do the same thing. Anyway, so first thing I usually always do is I click this little tile here between the rows and columns. Then I do format columns and width. Sorry, that's not right. Format columns and auto fit selection. My apologies. All right, so this basically expands the columns so that everything that is in them is visible. There's nothing being truncated. I usually take this out. There's usually no reference, and we obviously know that we're dealing with currency of USD, so I just usually delete those two columns out so that we don't have to get this panel, you right click your mouse and it'll give you this panel to make some selections of the highlighted things that you have here. So we have, this is all of September for month to date, and it's usually sorted in chronological order with the latest date being top, uh, which normally is fine. I really, you can change that if you want to with the sort option, but I normally just leave it like that. So now we're going to format the report so that it will look pretty and nice whenever you want to print it out. So you would go to page layout, start here. You go to orientation and you want to do landscape. So it turns the paper wide. And then you will do this here automatic to one page for the width. In other words, we don't want the width of the paper extending onto a second page. We want all these columns to appear across the page in the landscape format and not split over onto a second page. Now, obviously, we'll have more than one page going down, which is fine. We just don't want the columns to be split onto a second page over here. So that is how that happens. And now what we'll do is go to view and then do a page layout. We're going to change, right now we're looking at normal. Right now I want to see what it's going to look like when it's printed out. So I'll click page layout. So now we see each page and what it looks like. So let's see, that looks good. Okay, I'm going to come back here to normal for the time being, and let's do some other formatting. But I just wanted to make sure it fits across the page and all of that. First of all, let's make these currency. So highlight these, right click. Let's go to Format Cells, and then we'll go to currency. Now there are faster ways to do that. If you have a quicker way to get here, then certainly do that. This is just the way I've always done it, so I continue to do it that way. So now we have all these showing up as dollars. And then we want to start doing sums. We want to sum these columns. So we go click here, skip a column and come here. So this will be our totals row. So we're going to do equals SUM for sum. And then I'm going to take this column, I'm going to click down on it and hold down the button while I use my thumb to wheel up here to the very top. And I don't want to include the title, so just go to the very top here, right under the row that has the titles, and then let go. Now you have, and I'm going to wheel back down here holding nothing, and you'll see there is a, let's do, and then hit enter. Yeah, hang on, sorry. Let's expand this. That didn't work. Equals sum, oh, open parentheses, sorry, equals sum, open parenthesis, that was the problem. And then do what we just did. Now you have a different type of bracket. I was just highlighting something without a command. So same thing, right underneath the row. And now you see you have this, it floats until you get back down here. And then all you want to do with that is close the parenthesis. So we'll close the parenthesis and hit return. And that now has summed this column. Now I want to do the same thing for these other columns, and rather than doing that from a manual way, I'll highlight this and then drag this over like so. And I'm going to come up here to edit, and I'm going to do fill. I want to do right. So what it's going to do is it's going to take that same formula and apply it to each of these other columns, um, so that these columns too are being summed just like you told it to do this one. So now you have that total. Usually these match. What this is, let's look up here. This is the amount. So these are the individual units that comprised this total here. These totals should balance back to your deposits on the account. So you can see that if you press and hold and highlight, you can see here's a total. So that's the total. No, it's not. Sorry, this is the total sum. That's the total of what you've highlighted here, and you can see it balances back to this number here. Press and hold, drag, and then it sums it for you on the fly here, and these balance back. So these should be the numbers you see on bank statements or from deposits, etc. And then here's the detail of what comprised this. This number here, the host fee, this is the fee that was paid or that was deducted from our payout. So that number is there. And then this cleaning fee obviously tells what was charged as a cleaning fee. So my understanding is that this number is already factored into these totals here. You're looking at this number, already takes into account the fee that was paid on our side, our commission to Airbnb, that is. Plus also the cleaning fee. The cleaning fee is also factored into that as well. So that is where that is. You might check on that, Eliana. I'm not certain if the cleaning fee is in this number or not. That's a good question. I'm not positive. You might follow up on that and see, balance it back to the transaction summary and see. Anyway, so that's how you basically, now we have these columns formatted with a total, a running total. So now let's break it up into pages so that it can be printed. So we'll come back here to our page. We've already done our page layout, one page across. Now let's go back to our view and do page layout. And so now we see the page layout situation should not be breaking over. Why is that happening? Sometimes Excel just doesn't do what it's supposed to. So just do automatic and one page, and now it's fixed itself. So yeah, if you see that, just make it calculate it again. Now let's add a header. We'll add it in the center of the page. Let's call this Airbnb revenue report, and give it a time frame. So this would be month to date, September 2019. And then just say ending 9/29/2019. That way you know what part of the month you're looking at. And then if you hit this out here, it'll automatically center it because it's in the centered. I usually just highlight this as such, drag and highlight, come to home, and then you can increase the font size a little bit and then bold it. And if you need more space between the title and the body of the spreadsheet, you can come over here. And as long as you're in the view mode, actually you can do it either way, so that's fine. If you kind of hover over here in this column, you see how you get that little bracket? If you then hold down, you can drag this line down like so and make and increase the space for the distance between the title and the body of the spreadsheet. If you wanted to page number it, you could do that as well. Come over here, I've dropped my page numbers on the left side. You can put it wherever you want. Some people put it on the right. Click in this box here, and then come over here to page, I think it's page layout. No, it's not. Hang on a minute. Data, is it? Oh, no, it's header footer. Sorry. It's headers and footers. And then tell it to give it a page number. So you drop that in there, and it's going to give it a little code. And then that'll begin to number the page. So here's 1, 2, 3. And okay, give it a second. There it is. There's 4. Okay, so there's 4, and there's your totals. And if you wanted to get, real nice with it, you could say, let's do this, let's put a border under here, double thickness, and then bold it so it stands out as your total column. And that's what you end up with that. If you want to do that, that's another possibility. Anyway, that is basically how you format a report into Excel. And then, of course, as you can see, since you're looking at page view already, this is exactly how it's going to look when you print this out to a printer on paper. And that is that. Obviously, if you wanted to do a different time frame, then you would export it. You would adjust the data that you want here and then export it. Let me show you also how to do a report. So let's save this. Remember, it's a CSV file right now. So now that you made all this formatting, you don't want to just save it back to the CSV. You want to do a new file called Save As. And then you want to get rid of this comma delimited. You want to change the format to an Excel workbook so that you can actually, if you save this back as a CSV, it's going to lose all that formatting. A CSV file can't have in it all the data that makes the formatting of this report look this way. So you have to save it to an XLSX file. This is the most current type of Excel file. So select that and then save it. And then you end up with the same file, but just in an XLSX. So when you load it again, it'll come back to you just like this. It'll come back just like you have it. If you save it to a CSV, you'll lose all the